Hey mate, you alright?
Morning, Dev, and welcome all to part 3 of a Birmingham City chat with former player and fans' favourite, Paul Devlin. Good, mate. How's things?
Good mate, thanks. Yeah, not bad.
It's been a mixed bag, hasn't it, this month, which is par for the course, down at Birmingham 9. We finished on the last cast where we were going to Charlton, and so we'll start where we finished. Great result at Charlton, 1-0 away win.
Yeah, brilliant result down there. You know, they were doing really well, Charlton. So to go down there and get 3 points was fantastic, and especially adds a bit of flavour to it when you're playing against one of your former players in Lee Bowyer as well. So a great away result.
And Lee's doing a fantastic job. I think he even got sent off in that game, which wasn't unusual for Lee Bowyer, but coming out the technical department and getting sent off in that manner is a little bit different for Lee Bowyer, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, obviously he's taken his style of playing into management, a very passionate, wholehearted player on the pitch. And, it's obvious that he's going to manage like that as well. So I'm sure he's got a big future as a manager.
But isn't there some stupid things that are really creeping into the modern day game like that?
What do you mean, managers getting sent off, Gab? Or?
Yeah, managers sent off for just sending the ball back with a little bit of attitude. What I mean? There's no need for a red card for that. It's a passionate game. You get embroiled. You see a little bit of red mist at times. I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, I agree with you. It's not just stuff like that being a little bit petulant. I look at some of the tackles that people get booked and sent off for now, and I scratch my head at times. It's a physical, passionate game, and the powers that be seem to want to take that element out of it.
They certainly do. And then that started a bit of a bad run. Defeat against Preston, defeat against Derby, a defeat against Wigan, where you'd look at them 3 games, and you'd identified last time when we were 9th and we play higher and lower and you went higher. Yeah. The reversal happened, but then they turned it around with a tremendous performance live on the telly, which is always good to be live on the telly with a good performance, against Middlesbrough.
Yeah, it was a strange week. I was at the Preston and the Derby game. I thought the Preston performance was bad, and I weren't too impressed with them, to be honest. But obviously Derby, the actual performance at Derby going forward, we played quite well, and we created a lot of chances. He went back to 4-4-2, played Magoma and Crowley wide, and we looked dangerous. The problem was every time Derby broke, we looked vulnerable at the back, and then to get back from 2-0 down to 2-2. And then obviously Juki misses the penalty was such a body blow, and you just thought then when we missed the penalty there's going to be another twist in the towel. Obviously they've broken, got the 3rd goal. We'd silenced the stadium with what had gone on at Derby in the week with their lads on the night out and everything. It was all teed up for us to go there and frustrate them. So it was almost worse than getting beat, really, because we'd got back into the game, we'd created more chances, we'd had more corners. So to come away with nothing was a body blow, obviously. Then the Wigan game, you just can't legislate. Lee Camp will be the first to throw his hands up to the goal. As a manager, you can't legislate for your goalkeeper doing that. But Middlesbrough was, a really good performance. It would have been a travesty if we didn't get the 3 points. I thought when they equalised late on, I thought, oh no, is it going to be one of them nights again? But, to carry on and get the goal in the last minute or whatever, 90th minute, whenever it was, to get the winner was fantastic. So they showed a lot of character. And I think they needed to, because I think the manager was under massive pressure last Friday for that Middlesbrough game.
But should Pep Clotet be under pressure? Because what he's done, the way I've seen it this season, he's integrated a number of players, many of them foreign. He's changed the system 1 or 2 times and during the game as well. Birmingham are currently 12th and mid-table and looking an half-decent outfit, I've got to say, at times. Yeah, OK, they're a bit Jekyll and Hyde, but you do get that sometimes when you're playing kids and new players, don't you?
The problem is, mate, you know as well as me, in the modern game, you don't get time, and it's all about results. Now, if we hadn't have had the result on Friday, that means we would have played 3 teams in 7 days, all below us in the league, and lost everyone. So you lose games, mate. You're under pressure. It's just the modern game at the moment. So I think you needed that win massively. Yeah.
WM commentary. How's that going? You're away with Richard Wilford, aren't you?
Yeah, I was away with Richard. It was my first one for a while, so it was good. Yeah, it's just always remembering not to swear is the hardest part, mate, when Blues are having an attack or they're under pressure. So, no, it was good. I enjoyed it. And like I say, it was a good performance away at Derby. Just defensively, we didn't look quite as sure as we have done in previous seasons. Personally, I think letting Morrison go was a mistake. But, you know, he's gone now and we move on.
Again, we don't know why he went, because that happens with players. Players move on for various reasons, and you're right, we can't do nothing about it. But when I put little notes, I don't do any script. I just put little kind of bullet points. I've got a question mark about the goalkeeper. I've also got a question mark there, central defence. I look at it and I just don't think it's quite right, and I think that you seem to be on the same page.
Yeah, I think as a central defensive partnership, I don't think Dean and Roberts look solid, whereas I thought Dean and Morrison did look solid. And although the last few games, you know, we've created, you know, Derby and Middlesbrough especially, we've created a lot going forward. I think we've looked a bit vulnerable at the back. So, you know, I agree with you there. Goalkeeper maybe. You know, I think he takes a lot of unfair stick camp at times, but you know you can't defend him for the goal at Wigan. So yeah, I'd probably be inclined to agree with you there, Gab. Goalie and centre half partnership.
Now we've got Leeds, which is the next game, so we're going to still stay on the fixtures side of the cast at the moment. How do you see that game going, and can you see Birmingham getting a result like when you guys played Leeds early doors in the 2002-2003 season, although it was at St Andrews?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. Obviously, Leeds, one of the top teams in the division, they will have lots and lots of possession. I think when you see Leeds, and when I've seen them on the telly, whoever they've played, they've completely dominated the ball. Again, they're going to be one of the favourites to go up. We're going to have to be solid at the back on that day because, you know, the one thing for certain there, we're going to come under pressure. Yeah, it'd be great, you know, it'd be great to go up there and get a win, and like we did in that first year in the Premiership when we played them. But obviously, like you say, that was at St Andrews. But to be honest with you, Gab, I'd take a point there now. If somebody used to offer me a point away at Leeds, I think anyone in the league would take it, to be honest.
All day long. 2002-2003 season, when we did play them early doors, we beat them 2-1. I think we played Arsenal, that you were suspended for that game. We certainly got a draw up at Goodison Park. I think we played Blackburn at home as well in between those two fixtures. And then the first game from open play was scored by a Scottish international by the name of Paul Devlin. How did that make you feel?
Oh, it was brilliant, mate. I'd missed the first three games. We got beaten all three games, like you say, Arsenal, Everton, Blackburn. Because I got sent off in a pre-season friendly up at Livingston, of all places, in Scotland, and the referee actually put it through. And I missed the first three games. So Brucey put me straight back in for the Leeds game. And you know, most pros will tell you, when you work on different set-piece routines, very, very rarely do A come off and B come off the first time you try it. And it was a little corner routine that Mark Bowen had worked on with us, and it came off the first time, but we couldn't use it again all that season because people had wised up to it. But it was great, mate, you know, to make my debut, to get the first goal at St Andrews and the first one in open play. And obviously, you know, Jonty scored a brilliant goal himself that day. And to go on to beat a really, really tough, good Leeds team that I think they either got to the semi-final of Champions League that season or the season before, you know, with Viduka, Smith, Bowyer, people like that. Was a fantastic result, and it was the catalyst for that season, really, for us stopping up, you know, in the end comfortably.
Yeah, we did go to Goodison Park and we drew. Stern John got a penalty. It was 1-1, wasn't it?
People often say to me, "Oh, you scored the first Premiership goal," and I didn't. It was Stern away at Goodison, but you know, I did get the first Premiership goal at St Andrews, so that's always a nice thing to have.
And in open play, because I think open play goals are proper goals rather than penalties. It's a kind of, well, it's a 1-on-1 against a goalkeeper from 12 yards. I never view that as a proper goal. What's your take with penalties? I know they all count, but a goal from open play has to be a better goal.
No, mate, a goal is a goal. Whether you tap it in off your knee or your arse from a yard out, or you scream it in from 30 yards. Let me tell you, until you're in that position where you're 12 yards out and you got 30, 40, or in the playoff final, 78,000 people watching you, and everyone, and you're thinking, oh, how's you missed these penalties? You put yourself in that pressure situation, mate. Every penalty counts. You speak to Alan Shearer and people like that. Do they think their penalties count as much as goals from open play? And they'll tell you too, right? When I've played in every team I played for, when you got awarded a penalty, if it was a close game and there was a bit of pressure on it, there's probably more players don't want to know about taking the penalty than do. So you got to be brave to step up from that 12 yards, mate, and put yourself on the line.
Yeah, I think you're right there, because I mean, you did tell me about the horse bottling it.
Yeah, we were on about this the other day. I said, well, he was hiding behind the dugout. He went, no, I got cramp. I couldn't say I had to come off with cramp. But I'm telling you, mate, that there's not many, when push comes to shove, and, you know, if you're 4 or 5-0 up and there's 10 minutes to go, it's easy, you know, you'll have everyone volunteering. But if it's 0-0, minute to go, or it's a playoff or a cup final, you know, not many people want to step forward and put themselves on the line and take those penalties. So I've never, ever knocked lads that score, you know, 5, 6, 7 penalties a season, because it's a difficult thing.
Yeah, where I'm going with the proper one is I'm setting it up for the next little segment here. Because when we talked last on the podcast, Jude Bellingham had scored his first goal, which I thought the dubious goals panel may have disallowed it, because you'd alluded to on the last cast, a goal from a Liverpool player was ruled out, but he scored his first proper goal against Charlton, and that was a magnificent move by Birmingham. And Jude Bellingham does look a player. He likes to run from deep, he likes to control the game as well. He does look that he's got everything in his locker to be a top player, although he's only played a few games.
Yeah, he's done brilliant. Obviously, he's got a couple of goals to his name now, which will do his confidence the world of good. Thought he played well against Middlesbrough the other night. So, yeah, I mean, it's what we can't do. We can't get too carried away and you know, build him up too much and do what we normally do in this country, build him up and then knock him down when he has an inevitable sort of dip in form. I think Clotet's been quite sensible with him, you know, getting him in, getting him out, which I think you need to do that when he's only 16. But if he carries on his progression and he carries on listening and learning and doing what he's doing, he's got a massive future in the game.
Birmingham, like every football club, have always been holding out for a hero, and those heroes usually come in the form of a goal scorer. In the summer, Shay Adams went south and he joined Southampton. We've got a young boy of 19 years of age who scored the winner against Middlesbrough. I've only seen him a couple of times, but I'm becoming a big fan of Odin Bailey, and I look at his Wikipedia and I look at one or two things while I'm researching stats, etc. And it says he's a forward midfield player. I just think he's got goals in him. He's got a bit of pace. He's got a bit about him. He takes up great positions as well. Would you play him more forward and probably an ideal foil for the Duke?
Well, I mean, it's really difficult one for me to answer, Gav, because I haven't seen enough of the lad. You know, I haven't seen him in the under-23s, and he hasn't played a lot of first-team games. So I can't really say, he's got to play up front, he's got to play off the Duke. You know, if he's classing himself as a forward midfield player, you know, a bit similar to Bellingham, really, isn't it?
Yep.
You know, he's going to play in that role. So I don't know is the honest answer. I think we do definitely lack a goal scorer. Obviously, losing. You know, we've lost Adams and we've lost Morrison, which was 30 goals last season. So you probably took best part of half the goals that we scored out the team. People like goal scorers because goal scorers win games, and people want to see goals. That's why, like you said earlier on, most of the time heroes at clubs are your goal scorers. But on the flip side of that, they're the most difficult players to get and they're the most expensive players to get. So it was always going to be really hard after losing Shay to replace him, because I think as well what Shay, he had that little bit of pace to get him beyond that the forwards haven't quite got there. I would say that's probably a big worry of mine at the moment as well. We don't seem to have any pace in the team. You know, the wide lads, Crowley's been excellent, technically very good, Magoma, but if you watch them play, 9 times out of 10 they drive inside. We haven't got anyone who goes round the outside of a fullback, gets to the byline with a bit of pace, gets across in, stands it up for Duke at the back. Duke and Jimenez, when they play together, you know, I love the Duke, and Jimenez has looked lively, but quite similar. Battlers, 100%ers, never going to run away from people, never going to get on the end of a long ball in the channel. So I think we need 1 or 2 players added in January with genuine pace. That's why I was a little bit surprised that Vassell was allowed to leave, because you know, if that kid did have one thing, it was, you know, searing pace. So I think we're lacking that at the moment.
Again, 100% agree, and I was very surprised that he was allowed to leave, given Birmingham down to the bare bones up top. I do think we've got Bellingham and Bailey coming in as kids that have got goals in them. I think we've also got goals in the midfield now with Crowley. I'm liking the look of Villalba as well.
Yeah.
We do look as though we've got a Fab Five at Birmingham with Sunich there anchoring it. That they're looking as though they're a team that can kick on. Whereas I've watched Birmingham over the last few seasons, and I'll be honest with you, because I am always honest. I know that it don't sit nicely in some parts of the support, etc. at Birmingham. But Birmingham bored the arse off me, to be fair, with the midfield and the lack of creation. But I think now, looking at it, there are really a lot of green shoots at Birmingham 9.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, I've been impressed with Crowley.
Yeah.
His ability on the ball, his technique, the Alba, like you say. Yeah, obviously, I think Gardner's been a bit unlucky this season. I thought he played well last season, and he finds himself out the team. Obviously, you got Davis, Magoma. So yeah, the midfield's not looking bad at the moment. Like I say, if they can keep chipping in with, 4 or 5 goals each, or half a dozen goals each throughout the season, then that's going to help massively with the fact that we haven't got that 20 goal a season forward. So I agree. Yeah, it is looking positive in the middle of the park.
And also Josh McEachran, they looked at him, which looked as though they'd looked at him for an eternity, but they've seen something that they like of the boy, and he signed on the dotted line, hasn't he?
Yeah. He signed. I think he signed 2 years. I mean, obviously the kid's got ability. He broke into Chelsea's team at an early age. But again, how many players do we see that? The Ravel Morrisons, the people like that, Berahino, that they burst on the scene, and then they can't find a home. There's question marks again. I know, and I'm not levelling this at McEachran. I don't know the lad, but I think sooner or later, when you get to sort of mid-late 20s and you've had 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 clubs, you've got to find a home, and you've got to settle down, and you've got to say, right, I'm going to get in this team and I'm going to make myself a regular. So. Yeah, he's signed. He's obviously got ability, no two ways about that. But now he has to get in the team and stay in the team.
Yeah, again, totally agree. The Tilton Talk Show did a poll, the best player, beginning with D. You were done by Dougery. What's that about?
Listen, I was killed when big Paul Kissu comes and trains with me. He was on about. I said, well, listen, D, it's obviously going to be, you're going to get drawn out. Duger is going to be the one. But I think it was closer than what I thought, to be honest. And it was great to be talked about. I mean, at the end of the day, I couldn't, I wasn't half the player Christophe was, and I'm sensible enough and know enough about football to admit that Christophe was a absolutely fantastic player. So, to get close to him was brilliant. But fully deserved. Christophe was a fantastic player. What I will say though, Gav, 30 games, 6 goals, Christophe. 139 games, 38 goals, Devlin. So, did he do more for Blues than me? I don't know. Better player, certainly. Absolutely, certainly.
Sometimes you take the words right out of my mouth, and I am left-handed, and I'm holding the phone with me right, and I'm just writing down with me left 3 times as many appearances and 5 times as many goals Devlin scored over Dougery. And I think sometimes that we do put players on a pedestal, and he was a great player, no two ways about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost mythical with Christophe now.
Yes,
when
it is.
When it came in, it was unbelievable. And World Cup winner, European Championship winner, European Cup winner, and it was great to have about the place. And it was just that, I've said it before, I think we'd have stayed up comfortable with or without Christophe, and I've gone on record saying that, but he was the cherry on the cake of that first sort of 18 months in the Premier League. It was fantastic to have him around. He scored a couple of fantastic goals, right at the end of the season. And it was just that extra little boost that got us over the line and created a little bit of sort of interest in Birmingham City from the big boys, really, from match of the day. But hang on, you got a World Cup winner there. And like I say, as a player, absolutely fantastic player, gifted, ability, one of the best players I ever played with.
Sunday League football, you commented on your Facebook page about the parents. You do a coaching school as well, so let's just stay there for a short time and give out your website so people, boys and girls of all ages, can come and join, come and be coached by a former professional footballer. And I'm amazed that Birmingham City don't have you in the academy teaching the next generation of kids, but that seems to be the way with professional football clubs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's hardly any pros in the Birmingham City Academy. We seem to be the club that doesn't utilise that
Yeah.
asset that we've got of former players, not just former Birmingham City players, but former players coming in to teach our elite kids. For whatever reason, Blues tend not to go down that road. I've got my own sort of feelings and thoughts on that, but that are quite controversial. But I'll keep to myself.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a wasted opportunity in my opinion. Yeah, well, you know, Sunday I'm at the game and I'm watching my lad and he's 11 and I hear just some of the things what people are shouting and saying to the kids, and it's just, you know, it's sad really, and it gets on my nerves, and I almost feel like standing watching the game with my iPad on,
Yep.
you know, listening to a bit of music. So just idiots, just that, you know. One bloke shouted at one of the kids on the line because he's fouled his son. At the end of the day, you know, your son's going to get fouled, your son's going to get kicked. My son they're going to get knocked up. It's football. Yeah. If you don't like the physical part, go and take him to badminton. But, you know, you got a grown bloke in his 50s shouting at an 11-year-old kid. And then, you know, just absolutely. And then they wonder why there's trouble on the line. The bloke deserved his head punched in, to be perfectly honest with you. And then people wonder why the players disrespect the referees, wonder why there's trouble with the parents. They're just idiots, mate. A lot of the parents I listen to on Sundays, not all of them, there's some great people out there, and the people that help run the clubs and volunteer and salt of the earth, and football would be dead without them. But a lot of them, mate, that I listen to are just absolute cretins that know nothing about the game and just want to stand there and shout at young kids.
Yeah, been there before, Dev. I coached and managed probably about 150 games at junior football. Yeah. And some of the things that I saw and some of the things that I heard absolutely beg belief. And I've been of the opinion that some parents are brilliant, but I think that the kids would be better if you took the parents away and just let the kids play football. Because when the kids get criticised lots of times by the dad, because I find that, well, my experience is some of the parents that weren't particularly that good at football want to relive their youth with their kid, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely. You know, they're standing there as, 99% as frustrated. Well, I wouldn't even call them footballers, people that couldn't play football, and they're moaning and shouting at their kids playing because they couldn't do it. To me, that's what it seems like a lot of the time with these parents that rant and rant. I mean, listen, I never shout and ball at a football game. If I think my lad's played crap, I tell him in the car. I'm not one of these who sugarcoats. Oh, well done for this, well done. If he's played crap and he's done things wrong, I tell him in no uncertain terms, this was bad today, that was good today. So I criticise as much as the next man, but I don't shout and ball while they're playing, because it's embarrassing.
It is, and it makes you sound like an idiot as well, Dev. That's the way it's always a mirror effect. I looked at people and thought, you know what, give your head a wobble, you're an absolute idiot. All-Stars, how's it going with the All-Stars, and how's the injury?
I'm all right now.
Good.
I'm back to fitness now, so I should be ready for it. I think we've got a couple of the All-Stars haven't got a game, but yeah, I'll have a run out this Sunday or this Saturday. But yeah, the All-Stars are brilliant, mate. I don't know when the next game is, to be honest with you, but it's always great when we meet up and have a run around. So that's going good, and hopefully we've got another game for Annie in April next year at Solihull Moors. It's looking like, so all good, mate. Yeah.
They had a good attendance last night, by the way, over almost 3,500.
And I think they used the honesty box, didn't
they?
They
did, yeah.
People paid what they wanted to, which is, I mean, that is a club, mate, that's going places. I'd love to see them get into the league, because I know one or two of the players there, obviously Des Carter and people like that, and Paul Rivers is a director there, who's a friend of mine, who's a big blue nose as well. So really, really, good club to be at the moment, and a club I think that's going places.
And that was the first time we met up, wasn't it, at Solihull Moors with my old Moors show, and I'd seen your first tweet, or one of your first tweets over Twitter, about the worst manager ever had at Birmingham City, and I thought, I like this kid, let's connect.
Yeah, long time ago now, mate.
Oh, it's almost like an eternity, Dev. Princess, how's the princess doing? How's her month been, and the family?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. She's been okay. One or two bad days where I've had to pick her up from school, but in general, she's been good. So, thankful for that, and we're still getting, amazing support from people. PW Group Services, Phil Walsh, who incidentally now sponsor the Birmingham City All Stars. They had a big golf day and raised lots of money and split the money between Jeff Horsfield Foundation and Annie's sort of battle fund as well. So that was great, and big thank you to them. Absolutely fantastic gesture. So there's still people getting asked. People asking me, sorry, what events are coming up. So definitely want to do the golf day again. We're going to have the game again. So hopefully get Christmas out of the way and crack on with that. But she's all right, mate. Yeah, she's not too bad.
Now, where's the best place that people they're asking you about it? Is it on your website as well, the information about Annie's Fun Days? So let's have a shout out for that website.
No, sorry, no. There's no information up yet because we haven't got anything boxed off yet. We're just in the process of getting the All-Stars game set up in April. And then obviously the golf day we're looking sort of end of July sometime. But as soon as I get them, I'll put them on my Facebook, Twitter feed. Obviously, with regards to football coaching, anybody interested in the football coaching, there's a website for that, which is Paul Devlin footballcoaching.co.uk. Prices, venues, times, age groups, everything people need to know is on that website. So I'm an easy man to get hold of, mate.
You certainly are. You're the top man to get hold of, Dev, because you've always done things where we used to go in the studio when we both got a little bit more time. And as I've said at Solihull Moors, and we do this regular monthly podcast together. And finally, how's the old man? Have you put him on his leash this month?
No, he's still around the bend. He's a professional, as you know, Gab. He's a professional wind-up merchant.
Oh, I love him. I do.
That's what he does. He absolutely, considering he's a bloke who had never heard of Facebook a year or two ago, or two, he loves the crack, mate. The old man, he's a football man, but he does love winding people up. So he has a good laugh, mate. I mean, me and him have some, big debates about football and life in general, but he's good, mate.
Does he know much about football? Because he's a former boxer, isn't he? That's his background, isn't it, John's?
No, I'm a boxer. Who's told you that?
He's had a wind-up as well.
No, I'd be a wind-up, mate, a former boxer. Yeah, he might have put something in a box. No, he'd be a wind-up, mate. In all fairness to him, he was a good non-league player. He played at a good level of junior football in Scotland and obviously Sunday football. So he was a decent player. He does know the game. I'll give him that. He's got, as you can imagine, he's got very strong opinions on the game. He used to follow me. He's a bloke who's never drove, but used to follow me everywhere, home and away, playing football. And he does that with his grandkids now. Yeah. So he does. He absolutely loves the game. And like I said earlier on about me with my kids, he was my biggest fan and my biggest critic as well. He never blew smoke up my arse, mate. He never sugarcoated it for me. Always knew where I stood with him, and if I'd had a good game or definitely if I had a bad game. So he loves the game, mate. He's a bit disillusioned with the state of some of the things in the game, as I think 99% of working blokes are at the moment, and he finds things a bit ridiculous with it. But no, he's always loved his football, mate. Don't believe anything he tells you either, Dad. If he's a boxer or he's into kung fu or anything like that. He'll be winding you up, mate.
Oh, it does crack me up daily. And just tell him I'm working on a signed Jack Grealish shirt for him framed so he can put it up there in his office.
All right, you'll love that.
Or I might even try and get a Rangers one for him as well, Dev.
Well, listen, if you get a Rangers one for it, if you can get him to even touch that, you're a better man than me.
Deb, it's been an absolute joy again, mate. All the best. We'll speak again in a month's time, and love, happiness and health to all the family. And give John a big hug from me.
Cheers, Gab. Cheers, pal.
Cheers, pal. Bye now. Bye. Ciao.